When did you first hire somebody? Like when was your first employee?
First employee was November of last year.
That had to be exciting. That's a big
Yeah,
moment.
it is, man. It's a learning curve, right?
Hmm.
Because at least for me, right, the thing that attracted me to this business was being able to talk to people. That was number one. Like I've always told myself, I want to have a career where I don't have to just sit at a desk, but I can like sit and talk with individuals, figure out like who they are, what
Hmm.
like drives them, what motivates them. I've always been sort of like an outgoing sort of person. Um, and then just like the artistic side of creating apparel, right? So we buy the fabric and then we create the apparel from that, right? So we
Hmm.
create tech packs, which is basically like a blueprint of what the apparel is going to look like, and that's what I enjoy doing. So when we hired someone, the way that I had to think about business was completely different, because instead of figuring out how to create apparel, I had to figure out like what motivates people,
Hmm.
actual like the financial side of hiring someone, and compensation, things of that nature, right? So it was I had to outsource that. I had talked to other business owners. I was like, man, like how do you do this shit? Like I have no idea what I'm doing, and I feel like that's like a common theme of of what I've experienced during this process is so many times like I think I know something, and then something comes up and I'm like, I have no idea what I'm doing.
Hmm.
But I think the biggest thing is just being open and honest about that, and finding people that do, and getting their insight on it. And a lot of stuff is trial and error, right? You try it. If it works, awesome. If it doesn't, you adjust it, tweak it a little bit until it runs as it should.
It's awesome you say that, yeah, because you're clearly having success. And I think once you see someone have success, say running a business, you always just think, oh, they just knew how to do that. They had a good idea how to do it. Maybe, it's not that. People don't always think, oh, they didn't have any idea what they're doing at first. So it's cool to hear from someone who's just being honest about it and speaking. Not that people are always trying to lie, but I think just the perception is usually not that. I had to ask somebody. I didn't know what I was doing. I am the boss. I had to talk to this person, talk to that person, and literally figure out every single step along the way, how to hire someone, how to do maybe payroll or that whole process. And like you're saying, how to think about being a boss, how to motivate somebody. Because those are all big challenges. Like
Right.
that's what I was kind of thinking of. Like the day you hired somebody, like someone's job is directly impacted by you. You know, like that's got to be a big moment. Maybe you weren't thinking that deep about it. Maybe it wouldn't be good, but that's kind of the first thing that came to my head.
Yeah, no, I mean, you definitely do think about it, right?
Yeah.
Because especially the first one that we hired, he's a college student, and he basically told me, he's like, this is how much I'm making in the summertime. When I go back home, he's like,
Hmm.
as long as I'm making this much, working for you, like I won't work back at home. And so the first thing that you think about is, all right, he needs to make this amount of money. He needs to bring in this amount to make that, right? So your wheels are always turning. It's like, okay, how do I set him up to become successful? Because if he's successful, right, we're going to become more successful,
Hmm.
and it's going to give him these opportunities as well. And I think that's the cool thing about this is, when I started this company, I gave myself an opportunity that I was excited for, right? I wanted to create something. I've always, like I said, I've always had that sort of like drive, that ambition, right? And now I am in a position to give other people that same exact opportunity. So that's what's really cool about it. But at the same time, it's not that easy, right? It's not saying, all right, I have this company, now I'm just going to throw you in. Now you're going to have success, right? It's
Hmm.
really building on what we've done so far, and what they're good at, what they're bad at, and trying to figure out like the best way that they fit into this, so to speak, puzzle.
Yeah. So that does sound exciting to me. I'm sure there's hard parts about it though too, kind of like what you just said, maybe confronting what they're not the best at. Those first times doing that, I'm sure we're a little uncomfortable maybe.
Yeah, I mean, maybe for them, I mean, not really. I'm a very like open and honest person, right? Like
Yeah.
I'll just tell it like how it is.
Like
Not
it's
like
not personal.
Yeah, not in like an insulting way, of course, but like if you are bad at this, right? Like I'll be the first one to admit, like when it comes to like the financial side of things, my brother does like all of our finances for us. I
Hmm.
don't know what the hell I'm doing with the financial side. Like I can read financial reports and stuff, but in
Yeah.
terms of like reconciling and like all these other like terms and like that's just like not my forte, right?
Hmm.
And I think that's what makes this special is that I'm able to understand what I'm good at, what I'm bad at, hire out, what I'm bad at, so I can focus on triple down on what I'm good at, right? And I think that if especially the people that we bring on, if you can just be upfront and honest about that, your experience is going to be much better because whatever you're bad at, we can figure out how to mitigate you being in those situations, right? So you can
Hmm.
focus on what you're good at. And I think too, like when you have someone, especially as a leader, that is open and upfront and kind of walks, what they talk, um, it's easier for that person to be open as well, right? Because they know that you're not going to judge them. They know
Hmm.
that that's just the way that it goes. If you're bad at something, that's all right. Like you aren't supposed to be perfect at everything.
Hmm.
That's the thing. Like jack of all trades, like that sounds good, but no one's really looking for jack of all trades anymore. You know what I
Hmm.
mean? No one wants an average person at something. I'd rather have you be really, really damn good at one thing and shitty at everything else, because at least when you're working on this one thing, like no one's gonna be better than you.
Yeah. Then you can teach them the rest.
Exactly.
What's up, guys? Thank you for watching the video that you just watched. If you liked any video that I have put out, or again, the one you just watched, please subscribe to my channel, as I have a new episode coming out every single week with new clips coming out every single week as well. And I'm not stopping. So if you enjoy this, or enjoyed this video, if you enjoyed what you just listened to, or anything else that you have watched from my channel in the past, I would really appreciate it if you subscribe. All right. Thanks, guys.